Alright, yeah, we got the mini rigger, the overpowered pig, back on the block. Gonna be running some water cooling in this boat. I have not been running water cooling since I've built it. I was trying to conserve on weight with this overpowered pig of a mini rigger. So today we're going to be running some water cooling lines. We're going to talk about water pickups, how to drill out some water pickups to make more water flow. Basically got my through holes already in the boat, water exit in the boat, running a 4000 kV 2868 brushless motor, ZTW Shark 50 amp ESC, and a micro servo. So yeah, y'all stick around, don't blink. Big B with Ironclad RC. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell to get notified for future builds, future projects. Overpowered pig of a rigger. I guess the rudder will be the best place to start with this project. This rudder was about 1.5 inches longer. I had to chop off the bottom half because it was creating some drag in the water, and on a hydro style boat you really don't need a super long rudder like you do, say, a mono. So I cut off the bottom portion of this rudder. I've actually aluminum welded the bottom hole so no water seeps in from the bottom or escapes, and I've drilled out my pickup. Alright, now me being me, Big B, the big dummy, I have drilled my pickup out on the wrong side. I intended it to be on this side, and just, you know, not paying attention, just went in there and started doing it, and I drilled it out on the right side of my rudder. So that actually brings up a pretty good little lesson for you guys that might not know. If your pickup is on the right side of your rudder, like mine, it will pick water up better in a left-hand turn. You got me? Alright, so if your pickup is on the left side of your rudder, looking at the boat from the stern, on the left side of your rudder, you'll pick water up better in a right-hand turn. So basically, whatever side your water pickup is on, it'll pick water up best on the opposite turn. Alright, so this boat, it actually turns good left and right, especially when I'm throwing smaller props, trying to do some speed runs. So, you know, and it's a straightaway rigger. I built it for straightaway passes. I didn't really build it for oval passes or figure eights or anything like that. So it's fine. It's going to be fine. So with my pickup on the right hand side, like I said, it'll pick water up better in a left hand turn. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this rudder installed back on the boat. I'm going to get a little drill bit, and we're going to drill this little nipple out a little bit more. Now, I've already drilled this vertical hole out probably 2 or 3 sizes larger than what it came from the factory, trying to get as much water flow as I possibly can. Now, space is an issue with this boat, so I'm actually going to be running like this 6mm silicone tubing. Is basically the smallest tubing I could find. Aquacraft makes it. I picked it up at my local hobby shop. Support your local hobby shop. AQU B6904. That's your part number. I didn't really have a size, an inside diameter or an outside diameter size. I measured it with this board here, 15th 64ths. So basically 6mm outside diameter. I think that's going to be enough water flow to just cool down this smaller motor when we're doing our high-speed passes. So I'm going to get this rudder installed. All my hardware back here, I've kind of customized it. Like I said, this is an overpowered pig, and I just wanted some hardware to compensate for the power. Yeah, this boat's been a fun little build. I think I've lost about 5 pounds and half my hair. I'm almost bald now, but it's been a fun build. Oh man, trying to fit all this stuff in here, making custom parts, modifying hardware. This boat is my own creation. Just kind of wallowed it out See how it gets bigger and it drops down? I don't want to drill it out too much where I weaken the nipple. You don't want this rudder pickup, your hose from your rudder, to be too short. You want plenty of movement on your rudder when it moves back and forth, so make sure you have plenty of tubing for that movement. Alright, we'll just get it pushed in our through hole. Now my through hole is just basically a piece of brass tubing that I kind of roughed up, drilled a hole through the boat, and epoxied into the hole. Nothing fancy, a basic cheap way to make a through hole for your rig. And I'm going to just kind of give my rudder a quick blow just to kind of see how much flow we have. Alright, sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. This boat's tight. It's really small with all these big electronics. I don't have any type of lock on this cowling. I'm strictly relying on hatch tape to keep this thing on the boat. So I can't have any type of pressure pushing up, especially if we do a flip or you know, my blow over or anything like that on a high-speed pass. We don't need anything pushing up on this cowling, pulling the tape off around this seal right here. Whoa! This is from the rudder. Alright, so I was thinking about running this cooling tube to the front of the motor. Alright, and then running it out the front of the boat. I put an exit, a through hole up here. Again, I would run into the same issue with the cowling wanting to pop up because the tube's coming in front of my can, in front of the motor. So any way you look at it, this has got to have a tight bend. Any way you look at it, any way you look at this, you're going to have a tight bend somewhere. And this is the only solution I can come up with for this boat, other than bending a copper tube and soldering onto my nipple. The way this ESC is designed, my wires come out the front. The ESC cooling tubes also come out the front of this motor. So it's not like I can flip the ESC around, run into the ESC around and out. That's not going to work. Like I said, this boat has been a fun build, a rewarding build, also a very complicated and complex build. You really have to put on your thinking hat when you're building, if you're going to build a rigger of this size with this much power in it, and getting the weight distributed correctly so that it runs straight and true. Like the whole back end of this boat basically sinks down into the water. I mean, and I don't want to put pontoons on the back, and so I think this is going to work. If I had it all to do all over again, I would probably build it the same exact way. I like how fast it is. Alright, so tight fitting spring on the outside of your tube right here, and that way it kind of keeps it from kinking off. Let's see if we can find a spring to put on there. My kids' toys, or I take appliance apart for parts, I keep all my springs and just kind of hold on to them. They come in handy for a tight bend like that. You put your spring on the outside of your cooling tube, and when you do a tight bend, the spring will actually keep that tube from kinking off, and you can get a really, really tight, extremely tight bend without kinking your tubing. So that's an awesome tip for you guys to know and hold on to. So I don't think I'm going to be able to use this spring on this boat because of the actual diameter of the spring and the tight place that I have to put it. I've got to come up with an alternative solution, and I'm still thinking. I'm losing hair as we speak. So I've actually got a really light, extremely lightweight spring right here that I'm going to try to like open up a little bit. My tubing is a little bit bigger than the spring, but like I said, I've got to try to conserve weight, so I'm going to try to open this spring up, and I think it might be long enough for this, just this little bend right here. That's really all I needed to help right here. So I'm going to try to open it up and get it on this tube. It might take me a few minutes, so I'm probably not going to record it yet. Alright, so actually I did get it on. I actually put a little bit of oil on the tube to kind of slide it on and spun it on the silicone tubing so it fit. And I guess you really don't need like a really long piece of spring to do a little bend like that. I think you can just get away with a small spring in the perfect area on your bend, and it should keep it from kinking off on you. Hopefully my cowling will fit on once I get this zip tied together. I'm just showing you guys this. I kind of, you know, trying to help somebody out there. I know somebody can use this information. You know, I'm trying to give several tips in this video for water cooling. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I've put a lot of thought into this boat and tried to design it so I wouldn't have this problem. Now, on your initial setup, when you're just doing a dry fit on a boat, on any boat, you need to think about all this stuff ahead of time, which I basically did, but I wasn't taking into account, you know, a couple of little variables here and there. So when you set up a boat, try to take into account each and every variable, where you're going to run your cooling, where you're going to run your wires, everything, your battery placement, everything. You have to think about it. I love boat building. I love it. Like, it's such a rewarding hobby to me, more so rewarding than RC trucks. I think crawlers is a very rewarding platform to build as well, but something about boats to me, which it might be because I grew up on the beach, on the water, my family's shrimpers, my dad used to race little hydro pickle forks when I was younger, and it's just, my dad was an outboard motor mechanic. I was around boats. He owned his own shop. I was around boats my whole life. So I guess building boats is just rewarding to me, just because I know so much about how a boat works, and I'm always learning new stuff. I'm always open to new ideas, and it's always a learning experience. Every build you do, it's a learning experience. Just wanted to make this video. Hopefully it helps somebody out if you guys are building this boat and thinking about overpowering it. Professional, that's for sure. I'm not a professional, but I do take my boat building and this hobby seriously. So, alright, so that looks kind of nice. That don't look too bad. Let me get you guys in there. It's not restricting any of the flow. I don't have any kinks. I don't have any tubes like smushed together to nothing. Let's give it a little blow here. That's what she said. Sounds good to me. Alright. Just that little spring right there. That little spring. I think it come off like a throttle or something on one of my chainsaws. I own a tree business. So, I think that came off. Yeah, I think it come off of a throttle off of a Husqvarna chainsaw or something. But, let's see. Oh, yeah. I still want them to put a little pressure on it. Right there. Right there. Right there. So maybe I can get it, push it up a little more. Let's see if that does it. And this thing's not thick at all. I can't really sand nothing off. I've actually already sanded a little bit off of it. I've thought about every single possibility here, you guys. It's just the motor length. It's what's messing me up here. It's the motor length. And that's about the lowest angle I could go. I was wanting to actually run this stuffing tube out the bottom of the boat initially. That's what I wanted to do. But I went with a surface drive type setup just because the angle of my motor is lower with a surface drive type setup. Any higher angle, I would not even be able to put the cowling on without a water jacket. But I think we got it now. Oh, I can go back even more. Okay, okay. Alright, so let's see how that does. Oh, perfect. That's it. So that's it. That little spring took care of the kinking issue. right where I got the bend at right here. Just wrap my zip tie around the motor to kind of consolidate all the tubes. Now I'm going to cut everything to fit. We're going to probably, yeah, keep this outlet from the jacket on the top here, and then I'm going to come out the bottom to this nipple. It's kind of going to be a pain in the butt when I try to loosen my collet up to grease this cable. I put the nipple there to kind of keep everything pushed down so it wouldn't push up on my cowling if anything gets bumped or move around on the boat. You'll see what I mean once I get this put on. I'll try to put out as much information as I can about the subject I'm doing my video on. Try to get you guys as much information out so it makes watching my videos worthwhile. Put an oil on your tube that will help you get it on your on the nipples a lot easier if you got a big nipple on your ESC or something. A little oil helps you out. Some of you guys might already know a lot of this information, but there's a lot of guys out there just getting into the hobby nowadays that don't know a lot of this stuff, so that's why I kind of go in detail, as much detail as I can with some of my builds. So I'm going to cut it off here. For one, I don't want a lot of extra weight in here, and two, it'll kind of keep everything nice and tidy in the boat. So let's cut it off there. A little bit of oil, just a little bit. You don't want a lot of oil in your line because it could restrict some of the flow with the oil sticking to your tube. It could restrict some of the water flow and slow the water down. So try not to get a lot of oil in your tubing. Just a little dab will do. Just a dab will do. What I was saying with this outlet here, kind of hold all these tubes into place without having to put another zip tie in this boat. Hopefully, that's my that was the kind of idea behind it anyway. Put my water outlet where I did. I'm going to put this in and I'll show you what it looks like. And it's going to hold all my water cooling tubes into place, my wires down, like so it doesn't push up on my cowling if I have any type of blowover. Alright, double side tape this ESC into place like so. Alright, and I've got this water tube coming out the bottom of my ESC, and you see how I've designed it so that it kind of holds everything into place. Always, every time you hook up a component, run a new run, hook up a new line, always blow through your tube. Always. That way you can see how much water flow you're going to have before you get to the water. You don't want to, you know, run all your tubes, especially if you have some intricate runs like I have here. Get down to the water, put your boat in, and you don't have any water coming out. So just get your line off one side or the other and blow through the system when it's all hooked up. Sounds good. That's actually more flow than I thought I was going to get with this smaller 6mm outside diameter water cooling tube. So one more time. Yeah, that did the trick. That opened up this tube so I can make that bend as tight as I possibly could. 3M makes the best double-sided tape, in my opinion. Don't skimp out on the tape. Don't get the cheap tape. Get 3M. It's the best. Alright, so I'm going to start you guys off where in the rudder we got the cooling tube going to the back of the water jacket. Coming out the front of the water jacket, you get the best flow that way. To my ESC right here. The bottom is coming out and goes out the boat, out the through hole. Offshore Electrics actually has the best through hole fittings, but at my local hobby shop, like I said, I like to support Hobby Chest Jacksonville. Aluminum fuel nipples. The part number is number 476 by Sullivan. Nice looking nipple. And I think that's going to work. Yeah. I can't believe that little teeny tiny spring right here did the trick. I have enough room to get to my collet there, and the position I put my exit actually holds everything into place rather nicely. It's a 4S pack. Like I said, it's tight. That's a 4S pack. It's tight. So I've already got my battery in. I was out here earlier and I had a wire desolder within my first 45 seconds of running the boat. I had a Outrigger 2337 on this boat. It has a lot of pitch. So I put an Outrigger 438. This is also a new propeller. It's smaller than the propeller I've been running, Outrigger 440. So we got the Outrigger 438 on the boat now. I'm worried about how the boat's going to ride with the water jacket and cooling in the boat. That's a lot of extra weight up forward. I built this boat for straightaway passes. If you have a rigger and you want to build it for straightaway passes, all your weight needs to be on the back third of the boat. I'd like my weight to be back here. My weight was back here before I put the water jacket on it. So let's see what it does. Left turn because my cooling's on the left side, right in the weed.
Fire, 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 fire.
Did you see me?
No.
Fell right in that hole again.
I didn't see you.
See if you can zoom in. Shot of the cooling coming out. Whoa! Free Willy! Well, 80 on the motor, which is awesome on 4S, 80 degrees, 106 on the ESC. So we do need to drill out those tubes on the ESC. So I didn't do it, so now I know I need to drill these holes out so we get more flow on the ESC. Like I said, it's 97 degrees. Let's see what the battery temp is, 91. Put a bigger connector on it. 85. Alright, so hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Ring that bell to get notified for future builds, future projects. As always, thank you guys for watching. So if you guys have hung in here this long, got a tip for you. This is called a setup board. It will help you basically tune your boat. You use it, you take your propeller off, and you use it to set your sponsons. You also use it to set your turn fins. You see I've actually put like I cut off a ruler and set it right here to kind of see how deep my turn fin is into the water. I've got a ruler back here, you guys see that, so you can kind of judge how deep your rudder is in the water. I've got my pickup, let's see, about 1 inch below the water line, below the rod pads. You basically use this to tune your boat. I've kind of put a ruler here just to help me whenever if I need it, when I'm measuring my AOAs on my rod pads up here, my angle of attack. Just actually helps you work on the boat too. It, you know, keeps your turn fin safe from getting damaged when you're transporting it. I usually just put a rubber band, a big rubber band around the board. Alright, so this is what I was talking about with the setup board. Put your rubber band on there. You can basically carry it down to the water and not have to worry about it coming off the setup board, like a little briefcase. Just wanted to kind of show you guys my setup board. maybe you guys can get a little idea for your boat.